G'day everyone, welcome back to the Zero Access Footy Podcast, episode number 25. I am once again joined here by Behmmy. He is happy and alive to be here, and we are here to discuss what was a pretty interesting weekend of football.
Surprisingly, some close games.
Some close games and some big blowouts that we did not see happening. And it all starts off with game number one that we are, I guess, shocked to be saying here.
I'm so glad though, producer.
Hawks defeating the Pies by 64
Don't mute my mic.
points. Yeah, I don't think you make that decision anymore, mate. But round 22 started off with, I guess, a bang in the weirdest sense that we have been expecting a close one in this one. I think I had gone what I thought was a larger outcome with 31 points going the Pies' way, but it swung 90 points the other way, with the Pies losing in a big way and losing their top position probably for good, is what we all presume
Almost
now.
definitively for good.
Yeah, they had that position pretty much locked up at some point with 10 points clear, and now they are a full game behind the new ladder leaders. And we will get to talking about them very, very soon, but it's exciting to see change happen. So the Pies now sit 4 losses out of their last 5 games.
I'm just looking at their fixture now as well. Ever since that insane performance against Hawthorn where everything just looked absolutely perfect, they have been pretty poor for most weeks, even though they had a few wins in there against like Saints, Demons, and Eagles, and Richmond as well. Not many of them have been convincing, really. Like the Gold Coast game, obviously, the Fremantle game where they blew a lead, the Richmond game we know wasn't convincing, the Brisbane game they lost, the Hawks game was shit, as we know, but then they had the Carlton game, that obviously is just Carlton being really bad. The West Coast game, they were down for almost 3 quarters. Saints game, they were arm's length basically the entire way through, but couldn't really blow them out until the last quarter. The Melbourne game, as I mentioned, where you got over by 1 point, like that's almost 10 weeks basically of not at their best football.
And it feels like it's happened just in the last month even. We forgave them for a loss against Gold Coast because that was a Gold Coast team really strong on their home ground. And you're like, there you go. There's that loss that we all thought was coming, but we weren't sure of. Here now we sit with them in 3rd position and technically not there just yet. We're going to talk about what the finals are going to look like, but I think they're still a final side.
Yeah.
But it's just very, very clear that these guys may be more pretenders than we thought. We had a contenders versus pretenders series not long ago that we did. We did a segment on that, and we were all unanimously contenders because they were that clear on top. But now it's funny how things change so quickly. But I tend to still ride on the not at panic stations just yet. Although you're definitely like one more hit, one more big loss, and you're like, okay, these guys I'm almost ready to put a line through.
Yeah, and when they've got Adelaide this week, that could potentially be that week. I find it really interesting that after the last, let's say 4 weeks, given they'd lost 3 out of the 4, it was like, okay, don't go to panic stations yet, but you've got to fix some things. They weren't going as bad as people thought they were, but then this week comes around and maybe you're like, oh, well, maybe we weren't, but now that we think we're not going as well as we are, then you're not actually playing as well as you were before.
Yeah.
Which is where this performance comes out. They looked slow. They looked like they had a complete lack of energy. They looked like the most experienced side in AFL history and the oldest side in AFL history.
I'll tell you what, they looked old.
They I'm not going to say second rate because there was still some stuff there, but they weren't able to match it with a Hawthorn midfield.
Which is ridiculous. I really didn't think that midfield matchup would go against the Pies. I thought the Pies have what it takes. They have the talent and the rotation to make it work against any team, but they just could not get it with a Hawthorn side that didn't have Will Day. And while we can continue to rail on Collingwood and how they've been playing, a little bit of credit to Hawthorn. They have very much saved their season in a sense, or at least given their season a bit more hope. It doesn't look as bleak now. But it also makes me question the whole 4 talls thing because now we've seen it work. We've seen it not work. It's going to be interesting to see who they implement it against now or whether it's a permanent fixture. I would very much hope it isn't. But for this game in particular,
it worked.
Seemed to do very well.
Only concern is there was no Jeremy Howe. He got subbed out literally immediately.
Yeah.
And so it's, Hawthorn went down to 4 tools against 3 tools for Collingwood.
But is Jeremy Howe really that important?
By the looks of it, he might, because Billy Frampton in his first game back looked horrible. And then specifically against the 4 tools, it looked like it got exploited pretty badly because it allowed I suppose Hawthorn only played 3 sort of tools at one time. But when you've got Lloyd Meek pushing up and sort of outnumbering it, I suppose, with how Collingwood normally play, because Darcy Cameron likes to sit behind. When you've got that equal number, then obviously it completely removes your system and your structure.
Yeah.
If he's not able to intercept the ball, then obviously their backline isn't able to do it themselves. That completely moves away. Meek kicked 3 goals, completely set it up for them as well. And I thought he could arguably get the 3 votes because he was fantastic all throughout the game.
Yeah, he was very good. But the graphic on the screen here shows just how massive of a turnaround it's been for a side that was so considerably ahead of the competition. They are now a middle of the pack side in a lot, and a bottom 4 in some instances, the goals per inside 50, which is very, very wild to see with how good Elliott had been so far this season.
And I was on it before. I think it was right around the Saints game when I said they have been in elite territory in terms of their efficiency inside 50 and goals inside 50. If that doesn't persist, because how many game changes can you really see in that forward 50 in terms of specific players, then how does their structure turn around? Because if they're not able to capitalize on every single play like they were in the first half, then this defensive weaknesses come into play. And look what's happened. Because Elliott's not in the same form. None of their key forwards are winning any matchups, Memory, McStay, or Myerchak. Their small forwards haven't really been there because, Degoe, Hill, McCreary, they've all missed games.
Yeah.
So it's all just leaking out at the moment.
Yeah, and so it's going to have to be a very quick patch job as they move towards the final series. For their sake, they don't want to go 0-2.
No.
I don't think... if I'm to say now, I don't know about the Adelaide matchup. I think the Adelaide matchup is just going to be way too against them unless they pull out the most professional outcome that we've seen in a good while. God, it would be such a Collingwood thing to be losing all these games, and then right when we think they're going to get the knockout blow, they reaffirm their top spot.
Stay tuned for my tip at the end of the podcast, because I may or may not
watch through to the end of the podcast. But we're going to move on to Geelong versus Essendon now. Disappointing on all facets, really.
I mean, he should have had 7.
What was 4 goals, 5?
4 goals, 5, 2 goals, 3 in the last quarter.
The tip was Jeremy Cameron would beat Essendon by himself. I did say that they'd get over 50, and you had said...
I don't remember what I said.
With their talent.
I said 104-point game.
Yeah, you said 104 point. It was like 143 to 39. I said they won't stop them from getting over 50, but Geelong will just outscore them so much that it'll still be massive. And that's kind of what happened. Not in the sense that it was ridiculous, like we got to 140s, 150s, but, Geelong still kicked, I think it was, 109, 119, something like that. They were up in the hundreds at the very least. But Essendon picked off 75 points. And Liam McMahon was probably the big story.
That third quarter was really impressive. 109 to 65.
Yeah.
He looks like an AFL footballer, which is...
fantastic for Essendon. It's when you've put so many debutants in...
Yeah.
It's good to at least say that it's not just for the sake of blooding some youth and just putting them in there. Liam McMahon, looks like a genuine plan or a part of the plan in the future, much like Nate Caddy is and Kako kind of is as well, although Kako hasn't been outstanding.
At least they've played one VFL forward. The other one they delisted. That one their best and fairest.
Yeah, that was fun.
Do you know him?
Yes, I do. He kicked 6 at the MCG, mate.
He did.
Paddy Voss is, the one who he's referencing.
Yep.
If you didn't know that, Paddy Voss was delisted by Essendon.
Ball knowledge.
Certified ball knowledge. This man has elite ball knowledge. But, Paddy Voss was delisted by Essendon, and a lot of Essendon fans were actually very disappointed in that delisting when it happened. Yeah. They knew what was going on. So that's an interesting little thing. But, Jezza Watch could be cancelled.
21.
He needs 21 in 2, sorry. So it's looking more and more like it's going to happen in finals because he needs to average 10.5. God.
If he gets
his
7,
career best before North was 9.
Yeah.
So do not expect it. I think it is 100% happening in finals if it does happen. The idea that it happens is not guaranteed, but if it does, 100% in finals.
Yeah.
And that's nothing to bag against him. Again, still seems to be if you don't do it in the regular season, it doesn't count. I
Shut
still
up.
remember Fraser Gearing. I still remember that.
I
And that
do
was
too.
a very, very fun night.
I was like 2 months old and I remember it.
Yeah.
Well, the team that
Is that the elite ball knowledge thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, love it.
The team that Jezza might kick the 100 against is the Tigers, and they lost to the Saints by 4 points.
How was this?
Yeah,
Same reaction.
no. I really don't want to talk about it. Aside from Windy had a good first half of halfback. Now
Oh my God, Windy did ridiculously well.
Yeah, they were just cheapies, to be honest. Like they were typical Harry Sheezels. Sheezy ball.
What the hell?
Sheezy ball.
Why do I get the stray?
I'm not straying it at you. I'm straying
You're
at
straying
Windy.
my team. That's straying
I'm straying
me.
at Windy.
You're straying me and Windy and Sheezel. I don't like any of it.
Yeah, well, Saints shouldn't have won, and unfortunately we did because I wanted a good draft pick, and we didn't get it.
You are now sitting at 11.
Fuck.
Dude, have fun at the draft. You could get...
I was doing a mock draft last night. We're going to end up with pick 11 after all the compos. It's going to be about pick 15 after all the academy and father-son bids.
Wow, what a tank job. Nice work. Hopefully, though, next year you've got King back, you've got Filippo back and healthy. And hopefully Naz
expecting
still.
Max King back is not a good thing to do.
Yeah, that's not a good thing to do.
No. Remember, he was a chance to play round 1 this year.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Next, we move to an outcome that if you had elite plus ball knowledge, you could have seen coming. Sydney beating the Lions by 2 points. This one could have been a lot larger. Probably should have been, but the Lions, as they usually do, tend to find ways to fight back into these games. But my God, Isaac Heaney.
Masterclass
And a half, dude. He had four in the first half, finished the game with 5.
23 and 5 goals.
Like, he did that against North. And I'm like, oh, he did 30 and 5 against North. And I'm like, yeah, that's easy to do. But my God, 23 and 5.
You guys suck. That's all I got.
23 and 5 in
against
such a good side.
Yeah.
Like, that is, if it wasn't for the fact that they were so injury riddled, they'd be in finals. They'd be in finals 100%.
If Errol Goulden played 5 more games, they'd probably be in finals.
Legitimately.
It's
Legitimately.
ridiculous.
So, definitely a sad season for Sydney. But for Brisbane, this is a lost opportunity. This was their chance to take the upper echelon, to take the top 2 position.
Yeah.
I think they still have. No,
they're fourth or something.
Fifth? No, they're fifth.
Can't remember.
Somewhat. So, the top 5 right now is Adelaide, Geelong, Collingwood, Freo, and Brisbane.
Wow.
Although I am going to say Gold Coast will take one of those spots.
True. They might be 6th.
Yeah. So
Brisbane would be 6th. Wow.
To be fair, where'd they win it from last year?
Yeah. But they're in some strife because you look at their key defensive stocks. Everyone's talking about it with Collingwood and all the other teams. They lost Jack Payne to an ACL. They lost Ryan Lester to a concussion last week. They have Harris Andrews, and they had to bring in Tom Doedee this week for his first Brisbane game ever after he got traded there end of 2023, which is kind of crazy. But like,
who's the other one? Ainsworth, wasn't it?
Ainsworth also did his knee or ACL.
ACL.
No, Achilles.
Yeah, I was gonna say or Achilles, but
and then they've got Darcy Gardner as well. Like they are lost with injuries. Neil was also out, so for them it's just building up and building up and building up. Leicester should be back this week, and I want to see them go tall with all 4 of them, being Andrews, Lester, Gardner, and Doedee, because that allows a couple others in Wilmot and Zorko to be unleashed.
3 off the top of my head are Fletcher, Wilmot, Zorko.
Those are their 3.
One of them has to go. Wilmot probably but like move position.
You have 7 positions. One of them's on the bench. It'll be those 3 smalls, and then you have the 4 talls. I think that's works best because he was on Wilmot. You don't want him on Wilmot because you want, let's say, a Doedee on Heaney instead. He's got the size, and Wilmot.
Plus, Wilmot wants to go. Yeah,
he had the good goal as well. So for
them, 2 goals.
For them, I think having that extra height will be needed and allows them to be a bit better. Yes. And they also kicked 3 goals in 50 seconds. So
that's it.
Yeah,
just a few of those next time.
Yeah, I would have loved to have seen another comeback. I was at this Blue Suns game.
Yeah,
they were down by 45 points.
I definitely
got.
Oh my God!
Carlton were down by 45 points at 3/4 time. I'm speaking to my best mate who was sitting next to me, and we're like, "What was this? What was the score of the Saints Blue Demons game? 46 points. Score now 45 points. They were on. They were. And you didn't
care because they weren't taking your record.
Oh, I couldn't give a shit. I just wanted to see it happen. Lockie Fogarty missed 2 easy as set shots, and it could have been a 3-point game at one stage.
Ugh. I mean, it does show you the concerns on the Gold Coast end.
Yeah.
But the good part for Gold Coast at the moment is they've done the hard work when needed, right? You can afford to have a bit of an under-the-weather game when you're expected to be top 4 at this point. And for their sake, if they get top 4, they're guaranteed a home final, right?
Yeah.
They'll play a home final no matter what.
Correct.
So, I mean, that's just monumental for Gold Coast. So, like,
any final is monumental for Gold Coast.
I just have put in my notes, I can't believe they're finally going to play finals football. I just can't believe it. The Gold Coast Suns. Gold Coast is where football and sport dies.
Before North. Could you imagine in 2019 saying Gold Coast would play a final before North?
Yeah, probably.
No, you couldn't. They just got a fucking number 2 overall compensation pick. You could not.
Yeah,
Stop
there is
Stop
that.
kidding yourself.
There is that. But yeah, just a lazy 6-goal haul from Ben King.
Yep.
Very
He's back
lazy.
in form, which is really good. Probably shows what they don't need the 3 key tools. Maybe they trade for Charlie Kerno and give up Jed Walter. Who knows?
That would be very, very sketch. Who
knows?
Oh, that's one that is gonna, I reckon, get some Carlton fans and maybe even Gold Coast fans.
They might give up Sam Flanders and Jed Walter for Charlie Kerno. I spitball.
I don't think Gold Coast fans would be okay with that.
Gold Coast fans wouldn't care. I promise you.
We'll see. Port Adelaide versus Fremantle.
Not
another
any of them.
Close. All right, no need for the stray. You just really love trying to throw hands at randoms this episode. But
square up.
Port Adelaide versus Freo. This one, another really close one. I think Port had the lead for most of this game, did they not?
It started off with Fremantle kicking the first 4 goals. Then Port responded to kicking the next 5. And then it was a bit of back and forth. Port took a 3-goal lead early in the third quarter and then sort of held on until the last. Fremantle came back, got the lead, and then I think it was through Pat Voss who kicked it, and then Rosie kicked the goal to put Port in front by a point, and then it was Alex Pearce that took the fantastic mark to put them in front with a minute left, and from there they were able to hold on. Fremantle are just battling it out at the moment.
Yeah,
they are just grinding down, and it
does have you worried for how their finals are going to look, but like with the way their season looked at the start, I don't think they're complaining.
No,
the fact they've hit top 4 now,
yeah,
after where they were, like not long ago we were talking about whether they'd make the 8. They're sitting in 4th right now, so we can't really get too upset with it. You just hoped that it wouldn't be this close against a team that's got nothing to play for, basically. But a very inspired performance from Travis Boak after his recent retirement announcement, and Alir with his first ever goal in Port Adelaide colours.
Yeah.
So some interesting. I was just trying to think of Port Adelaide things to be happy about in this kind of.
If Naz doesn't come, they got nothing to cheer about.
What if he does?
He's not going. I can say that much.
Oh, that's an exclusive. Elite ball knowledge, is it? God, I can't wait for this to backfire.
Stop with the elite ball knowledge. No one cares.
Well, you claim you've got it, so I'm going to keep mentioning it. Next, though, GWS versus North Melbourne. This is like the only game that went as expected, and that really makes me sad.
Yeah, well, if that's the case, then there's nothing to talk about aside from Callum Brown kicking 5 goals on Griffin Logue and
Aaron Cadman kicking 4 as well. Yeah, Cooper Trembath. I was so happy when I saw that he kicked 3 and Geordie Payne kicked a goal. So both the debutants kicking goals on their debuts. But Trembath is just, thank God we seem to have something. I hope at least. I didn't get to see much of this game, but I'm very careful with how much faith I put in my team. I'm just very happy that it puts a smile on my face that they managed to play pretty decently in their first games back.
First games back.
First games ever.
Yep.
But this team's defensive ability wipes that very same smile off my face. So it's a double-edged sword, this team.
Would you be willing to get rid of Griffin Logue and put him forward instead of down back?
Well, I think I tried bringing this up at some point, right, where like, do we try and move him around? Because Griffin Logue was supposed to be someone that bolstered the back line, but he's become like our biggest problem.
Yeah, he's like
he makes us want Aiden Core back, and like, how do you do that? How on earth do you do that?
Surely bring in Will Dawson. He looked good.
He did get beat pretty well against Geelong.
Yeah, but he looked good against Darcy. So same shit.
Maybe I don't know. I definitely think giving him another go again. Last 2 weeks of the season, I'm sure Clark will try a few things out, but I'm going to try and find the positives out of it. Trembath, Payne, very good. I didn't expect to get
Harvey.
that. Cooper Harvey as well. Yeah, Cooper. Like, it's those young guys that really. The Cooper Troopers. There you go. Look at me. I'm a North Melbourne pioneer, I am.
You're like the Mario Kart brother. You're like the Luigi of this podcast. Mario and Luigi. Cooper Troopers.
That's the dumbest thing you've ever said.
That's good though, isn't it?
Where did you get that from?
Cooper Trooper. You just said Cooper Trooper.
I was relevant to the name.
That made me think of Mario Brothers. Mario and Luigi.
God. How did we get here? All right, we got Melbourne versus the Dogs.
This was a really good game.
This was a very good game. I knew it was I'm going to use the term certified hood classic. I love that term. We have had some absolute clown show comments on this podcast so far, but
in front of a live audience, we're bringing it out for
Riley West, that goal,
from Darcy.
No, Riley. So Darcy's mark. I mean, that's going to get.
No, I'm talking about
much.
the one where he played on quickly and gave it to Darcy, who chananed it.
No. Darcy gave it to West.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking. Darcy gave it to West.
I thought you meant West gave it to Darcy. No, but we're on the same page.
Yeah.
That was such a good kick. I loved that one. That was like, the balls on the man. That's like, how do you
pause?
Because he went. Shut up. He went to look at his left foot and he goes, you know what? I back my right. I'm going to back my preferred. And it was so solid. But I thought this was going to be the game that the Dogs ruined their finals hopes.
I tipped Melbourne. I was so on at the end of the third quarter. I was so on.
Oh, man. I would have been feeling good if I was someone, either a Melbourne fan or someone who tipped Melbourne.
This was identical to the Bulldogs versus West Coast game at the end of 2023.
That's the first thing that I thought of.
Close.
And funny enough, they play West Coast next week, and after the game that West Coast had against Adelaide, who we'll talk about now.
It's at Marvel, isn't it?
Yep. It could happen again. We'll get to it at the end of the podcast.
I'm tempted to go to that game now.
Yeah. West Coast, Adelaide, though. This one, first off, to get it to within single digits of a margin.
Yep.
This game should not have been entertaining. This was first versus last.
How
How was that 9 points the difference?
I don't know, but West Coast, we were saying triple figures. Like, we were pretty confident that it'd get that.
It didn't even get to double.
Yeah.
Didn't even get to double. But they cannot be blamed whatsoever. I've just written, Daniel Gorringe put up an Instagram post basically saying it's not going to happen, is it? And he's known for cursing teams.
Why would he do that?
Yeah, exactly. He's known for cursing teams.
Hang on.
So he tipped at he posted at 3/4 time. He goes, are the Eagles going to actually do it or something along those lines? And then immediately as the game ends, I forgot that I have this power. I'm very, very sorry.
So had Adelaide have lost, just play with me here, we would have had Adelaide, Geelong, Collingwood and Fremantle all on 60 points. Gold Coast, had they won that extra game in hand, also on 60. Brisbane on 58. Hawthorn, GWS on 56. We would have had one game separating first and eighth.
That would have been fantastic. I mean, all the games that didn't involve finals teams would be complete washovers. No one would watch them. But any game, especially if it's two top 8 sides playing each other, it'd be like, this is like an elimination final. They're like, it's so exciting. But, first team in the competition now to clinch their spot in the finals, despite it being ugly. First time since 2017 that they have done so. And if you know anything about 2017...
Power stance.
The power stance, that was the one that I kind of wanted to reference here because...
It's like you in your funny photo when you stand like this.
Exactly. It's me whenever I'm in a public situation. I just freeze up and get all awkward. But I made that sound really pathetic. That was really sad. But if you were around the AFL scene in 2017, you knew that Adelaide were a force to be reckoned with. They were actually predicted to win that grand final in 2017, but then they got done. And notoriously, the power stance worked up until it didn't, when they got completely pumped by the Tigers.
Got pantsed.
They really did. And so that was just the beginning for what was a tumultuous 2017 season into the 2017 off-season. Of course, if you were around there, the camp. The words that pretty much defined Adelaide past for the rest of the 2010s was the camp. Basically, the way that Adelaide had gone about it, they had brought a third party in to look after their camp and kind of get these guys back in. There were a lot of weird tactics to build resilience.
There were some literal military drills.
Yeah, and there were rumours that they had been brought in on buses blindfolded with
guns poking their back.
armed people actually there, like simulating something pretty horrendous. Some of the drills I remember being they were tied to a tree with a rope and they had to reach an axe that was at a distance away from it.
There was a lot we don't need to talk about with that because
no.
It's been talked about to death.
It has been talked to death, but it's been a while.
Yeah.
Right? And that kind of shows you where it all began for their downfall at least, because the season after their grand final, much like Sydney, but probably in a much more depressing way, they missed their finals.
They missed everything.
They missed the final, and the culture had been so brutally damaged. Going into 2020, which I believe they finished last, right?
Yeah, 2020 they finished last.
They finished last in 2020, and this is when they have lost Eddie Betts. They have lost Mitch
Charlie
McGovern,
Cameron, Jake Lever, Mitch McGovern.
So many of these players left,
heaps.
and one of them, I believe it was McGovern, had outright said the reason he had left was because of that time period, that camp time period. And so all these players leave. Tex stepped down as captain. I think it was before his big controversy kicked in.
Yeah, it was.
But not long after he stepped down as captain, a moment happened at I believe it was a SANFL game where he racially
abused.
That's it. He racially abused a player on the opposite side.
Former Saints player, Robbie Young.
Yeah. And then that blew up in his face. A big black guy. I believe he took some time out from the club. But the way things have changed from there, right? They have built around, I believe, a sense of stability. They have really worked hard on working around Matthew Nicks because he's been around since those poor times.
Yeah, he was 2020. That was his first year.
That was his first year.
After 2021, I'd say, like off-season of 2021, I think that was the year they might have brought in Jordan Dawson.
Yes.
I think.
So that was going to be another thing I brought up, their big trade for Jordan Dawson from Sydney.
But you look at some of their players that they had in just before then, like Fisher McCasey. He was a top 6, I think it was 6 overall pick. He had to retire because he lost the love of the game. Like, there was all that stuff with Tex in 2021. So right at the end of 2021 was the major change for everything for this club.
So around, like you said, 2021, they started to, you could see small things. I think the biggest moment in that time was when they beat Melbourne in 2021. They were bottom feeder team and they managed to pick off the undefeated Demons, right? And I think that's actually what spiraled the Demons down. I don't know whether, so obviously they peaked in 2021, but that was kind of their lowest point in the season and where they got most of their questions. And it was a massive build-up. It gave the Adelaide crew hope to show that they had something to work with. And so you think of how early in, after bringing Dawson into the side, they made him captain. That was controversial because the fact that he's just come to the club, clearly he's impressed them so much that they've entrusted him with that decision. And God, what a look that was. But the trade for Isaac Rankin is also where things get big. This is also around where they drafted Riley Thilthorpe. I believe Darcy Fogarty was building his way up as well. So there's your forward line kind of starting to form. But yeah, Isaac Rankin comes in too and solidifies that forward line. And this is before really Riley Thilthorpe had been the man mountain that we know him as now. So that big trade, the back line has basically been built through a little bit of the old guard plus a lot of younger players coming through. I don't think there were many trades that really came in to fix that up. It was mainly
Keane.
Yep.
I think it was a mid-season pick or something like that, or a pre-season pick. Josh Worrell, not a top 20 pick. Nick Murray, not a top 20 pick. Mick Laney was, but I think it was pick 16 or something like that. Mitch Hinge, certainly not a top pick. Brody Smith has been there for a while. Wayne Miller has been there for a while. They're not stars, but they just do what you need them to.
And it's probably been the most underrated part of their club so far. And that brings you to now, after 8 years, we see them back not just in finals, but in the best team in competition form right now. So it shows how they have managed to turn this around in a way I really didn't expect them to, especially considering last year. Didn't they finish bottom?
Finished 15th.
4, yeah. They were 15th. So an incredible turnaround. It's really just a matter of staying true to themselves, staying consistent, and staying almost loyal to what has worked for them in the past. Because the biggest thing about all this to me is Tex. The fact that Tex is still here, still thriving.
He's one of the very few. I think it's him, Brodie Smith, and that's basically it.
Yeah.
And Riley O'Brien. He's the other one.
There you go. The anchor the entire time has been Taylor Walker, and that wasn't guaranteed in any sense.
No.
So it shows how faithful they've been to someone like him, and how faithful they've been to everyone during their toughest times. This is such a well-deserved outcome. I think Adelaide should be very proud of where they've gotten to. But obviously, this is just the start of what they want to do. So, with that being said, that is the round 22 review. A very long 22
Lots of things
review.
to talk about.
But Macca's Man of the Week has returned. We started posting this segment on socials as well, so be sure to follow us over on Instagram and TikTok.
Haven't posted it yet to TikTok. Might do it. I'll see.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes, but Instagram is where you will be seeing this stuff as well. Macca's Man of the Week, 1 vote. We just talked about him, Mr. Jordan Dawson, and absolutely
Another vote.
He has gotten another vote.
He might be the leader.
Only the one vote. Honestly, would not surprise me if he is the Macca's Man of the Week leader. But more importantly, I think he's the Brownlow leader right now. I think he's at least
Naz
this week. Shut up. Was he the best? Was Naz the best player last week?
Easily.
You think so?
Easily.
Against Richmond?
No one else.
Really?
I don't want to.
You don't think Windy could steal it from him?
Definitely. Oh, Windy definitely.
Rowan Marshall, maybe.
Rowan Marshall, probably not. Maybe a Sinclair, maybe Wilkie. Those are the only other
There's
two.
some players there that could steal it. But Jordan Dawson, the 1 vote, was against the Eagles, so I haven't put him any higher. But he just dominated. He's been in some ridiculously good form. And he does the little things too. So the disposals is obviously where you'll look at for a lot of these Brownlow contenders. But Jordan Dawson gets in and amongst it too. He's not just a disposal getter. He is an effective disposal getter. And he's rough and tumble. He's a massive package that just really helps them out. 2 votes I gave to Ben King.
Yep.
They needed all 6 goals.
Yep.
And it's nice to see him get some form. I think
in the lead up to finals.
I was going to say, I think it really does solidify a final spot for them, despite the fact they do play GWS next week. We'll see how that turns out.
Could get the win still.
I think it's absolutely possible. They nearly had it against them the last time they played each other. But 3 votes to me felt like a no-brainer. Isaac Heaney in a game against Brisbane that they did not expect. I don't think many people expected them to win with how good Brisbane's win against Collingwood was in the moment. 5 goals again with a haul of disposals. He just ripped the game apart. He got a lot more help, I think, in this one. I think he had to if they would have beat Brisbane, but a fantastic effort from him. And then I gave an honourable mention because I've made fun of this bloke before just because of how random he's felt in the league. But Francis Heaven,
Big Frank, he was fantastic.
4 goals.
It wasn't just the goals. It was
He
everything.
was out-marking Mac Andrew. And he's much shorter than him.
He was doing Charlie Cameron things.
He's taking Charlie Cameron's role almost because Cameron's been pretty quiet as of late
It's like
too.
Thunderstruck, that movie with Kevin Durant, where he just takes his powers.
I love that one. You could have mentioned Space Jam, but you mentioned one much better.
Yeah, I couldn't remember the name Space Jam.
Irrelevant to Thunderstruck, really.
Yeah, completely.
But that is Macca's Man of the Week. And Donkey of the Week, who's he got? Who's he got for Macca's Donkey of the Week? I'm very excited for this one because
I am very interested.
No, you're not interested. You know who it is.
I do?
Yes, you do. We have ourselves. I wouldn't say it first because I think I put myself as Donkey of the Week before.
Yeah, against Geelong.
But yes, this was a fun one to show off. Story time. We were all kind of chatting to each other in the group chat when the Collingwood-Hawthorn game was happening. And a particular man in the podcast group was not very happy about this. So Donkey of the Week goes to our good friend, producer Ethan. We love his work sometimes, but
I don't know if you can see.
That is just a small glimpse of the crash out that our producer had while this destruction of his beloved pies was happening. It doesn't happen often to his side.
No.
Especially over the last 5 years.
But when it does.
Collingwood have not been beaten that often. But like you said, when it does, it's fun to watch, and he can often stay calm. I'll tell you what, in the 2 years that I've met him, this is probably the most outrageous.
That was the most outrageous I've seen him.
We've seen him. I think so, at least. There's probably been some times in person that have been really good, but producer Ethan is our donkey of the week, and I'm really disappointed that he hasn't put his name up.
Oh, he doesn't want me to post it on socials either, so he's not going to be a happy champ.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Producer Ethan, another week in the twos for him is what it sounds like. But we're going to Behmy's Tribunal tasks.
Yeah.
Let's have a look.
The best segment in all of AFL football.
The best AFL segment in the league. What have we got this week, my friend?
We're going to start off with a bit of a review of last week. There were a few incidents. Tom Stewart won. He only got a fine, did not get suspended for this. I was of the belief that he shouldn't get suspended. And look what happens when you listen to the one who should be in charge.
A lot of confidence from Behmmy this week. That's good.
Always. So, thankfully, did not get suspended. There was nothing he could do once he jumped in the air. Next one is Paul Curtis.
I can't believe this. Yeah, so Paul Curtis.
Paul Curtis!
Yeah, Paul Curtis.
So, he did get 1 week for this. I said potentially 2, but realistically, I can't remember if I said 3 or 1. I thought it was
3.
Yeah.
3 was mentioned.
Yeah, I said if it's high, it's 3 weeks, but it was graded as medium, so 1 week.
I was fully expecting 3 because it's just
enough.
such a obvious action. I'm like, he's going to get suspended for a long period of time. But what was the grading?
It was intentional, medium, and high. So 1 week.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Honestly, Angus Hasty, just a bitch.
Square up, bro. Square up.
Dude, could you imagine he did that to Naz?
He got dropped too, which was really surprising. This was one that was picked out that I had no idea that happened. Almost could have been horrendous.
Very close.
Literally almost
Leaves
could have
his
been
feet.
horrendous.
It's because he gets the ball first, does he?
Nope,
No,
Marshall gets the ball
gets
first.
it first.
So when we're speaking about action over result, is this not the prime example?
I think so. I do believe so. But he grazes him. It's
Leaves
like he misses it
literally
this much.
Literally, like there's still some head contact, which is why I'm so surprised that there wasn't more from this. This is multiple weeks.
Yep.
In my opinion. If we want to get this out of the game, you get this out of the game by suspending him, not by giving him a little tap on the nose saying, "Nah, you're okay for this week and the rest of the year." This is probably more than 3 weeks.
If he hits him.
Action-wise, that is really poor. Leaves his feet, no duty of care, gets to the ball second, so there's not that argument that he's making a play on the ball. Goes to bump as well. So it's not like he's gone to pick up the ball. He goes to bump, which you see better in this angle, where he actually does look, he locked his arm like this and goes into him.
My thinking as well is that maybe he got off because Zurhaar's in line with the football as he jumps, but the problem is it's the action.
He only got off.
That's a very scary action.
He only got off because Marshall was not concussed.
Yeah, that's
the
probably
only
the main reason. Yeah.
I'm a bit disappointed that this wasn't given.
I'm over the moon.
I
think you're digging at straws, mate. I think you're digging at straws.
Liam Duggan, this was actually not given anything, I'm pretty sure. Let me just double check. Where is it? Yada, 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 yada. This is me being really, really prepared.
Yeah, so he comes in with a shoulder, it looks like, on Tilthorpe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shoulder leading in.
Never mind.
He doesn't even grab the ball.
This was a Sunday game, so it hasn't been released yet.
Yeah.
Goes to bump, hits him high, doesn't go for the ball. Technique is right, but he goes for the man, gets him high. This should be careless.
He doesn't go nearly low enough.
No. Again, the thing is, he has not hidden him with genuine force. I'm pretty sure Thilthorpe did not get concussed. So what they're going to grade it as is probably careless, medium, and high, which is borderline a week. I think it should be careless, high impact, and high contact, which is at least 1 week. I could argue it should be more, given it's not a great action, but based on the current system, it's 1 week.
I think it'll get a week.
So
I think so. Because, again, every bloody week, man, it's always whenever someone lies there with potential concussion, they're getting suspended. They're getting suspended.
I think that's pretty clearly a suspension.
Yeah.
And it just tops off a really bad year from Liam Duggan.
That's it.
And then we have the John Newcombe and Jeremy Howard, the big one. This was given. He was cleared.
This is where the crash out started, by the way.
It was. He was cleared of any wrongdoing in this. Eyes on the ball. Arguably.
Did you hear that, producer Ethan? Clear of any wrongdoing. I'm sure he feels great about that one.
You can just see the smoke rising.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I could. You do have a microphone, by the way.
Oh my God. He'll put it in post. He'll put it in post. Either way, it was a very scary watch. And it was like the worst possible outcome to start for the Pies.
Yeah.
30 seconds in, this happened. This was within like one of the first contests of the game.
It's really hard to tell in this spot because it is head-on-head contact, which is, it always makes it 10 times harder to grade.
Yeah.
But he looks to be making an attempt on the ball, or
He's
at least trying to tackle.
At how, to be fair.
Or at least trying to tackle. It doesn't really look like, I can't tell if he's going to bump because look at how he's slowly moving that way, just the way he's going at the ball. Newcombe's coming straight at him.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard to tell with this one. And I think you could argue this one should be sent to the tribunal to see what they would go with, where the next one we'll talk about was sent to the tribunal to see what they're going to go with as well. But I'm on this one, the fact that I think he should be cleared, and he was cleared, but it's a really tough one to grade.
Yeah.
I think no matter what grade.
To be fair, it's tough for some, not so tough for others. Lifetime.
He's just seeing red.
Yeah,
he's just seeing red.
Worthy.
But we go to the last one, which is probably the most contentious one of the week, which is the Dylan Shiel push of Mark Connors into Luaman Lual. I feel sick every time I watch this one. I just think the way he lands, it's
an awful landing.
It just looks really, really bad.
So it's like the fear that you have of not being able to like stop yourself as you fall.
But once again,
and it's not that he doesn't like go like horizontal. He goes diagonal. So he bounces up after it.
It's really bad. You see everyone in the crowd going,
yeah,
I don't blame them. This would have been wiped out in preseason had they have suspended whoever it was, Jinbi, I think.
Jinbi it was, when he got Lawler.
Right? We've had about 6 instances since, very similar to this, where a player pushes someone into the mark, and look what happens. You get someone like this, and this has been sent straight to
the tribunal.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dylan Shiel should get at least 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's not often that you see a teammate of the injured player be the one suspended for it, but it's more than warranted.
Action is horrible. It is not a football action. There is no duty of care whatsoever. This isn't just a football injury. This could be a career-ending injury for someone if something like that happens again.
If he lands poorly,
if he lands straight on his head, that's a neck snap.
Yeah, and it really
paralyzed.
Thank God it wasn't. Thank God it wasn't.
He is so lucky that he's able to protect it. Like, he almost uses his head as a stepping stool.
Oh.
It's horrible. That is horrible.
Yeah.
So I think he should be done for the rest of the year and the start of next year.
Yep.
3 weeks minimum.
Yeah, very unfortunate for Dylan Shiel.
But
more unfortunate for Luaman Lual. So hope he is doing all right.
Wraps up another weekly episode of Behmy's TT.
Love a bit of Behmy's TT.
Behmy's TT.
Love a bit of Behmy's TT. But now we move on to probably the most interesting discussion that I can find at the moment in regards to what do the finals shape up to be. The teams you see on the screen right now, the Giants, the Dogs, and the Hawks, I believe, are the ones who are in contention for the unlucky 9th position. Dogs are actually my tip for 9th this season, so I still think that is on the cards.
Really?
But I will say it right now, I don't think they're going to be the ones in 9th position. So we'll have a bit of a further discussion as to what this means. So first off, I want to discuss the run home for each of these teams before we get stuck into any...
Can we put Collingwood in this, please?
Yeah, get on that, editor. Get on that, producer. You're editing that in. We've got GWS, Dogs, and Hawks at the moment. The GWS run home is the Suns at People First Stadium. That is their next matchup.
They wouldn't start favourites in that.
Definitely wouldn't start favourites for sure. But then the Saints at NG. So at the moment, it looks like a 1-1. The most likely outcome. So 1-1 for the Giants. Then we have the Dogs. They have the Eagles at Marvel. And then the Dockers at Marvel. So they don't leave Marvel Stadium. That is my reaction.
Leave that up there.
My reaction.
Once we've finished each team, can you put it in each spot, please? Yeah, there we are.
We've got the Dogs run home, Eagles at Marvel, and the Dockers at Marvel, and then the Hawks run home is Melbourne at the MCG, and then Brisbane at the Gabba. So a lot of 1-1s here, but I think it's pretty universal that one of these guys will be able to pick off a team here. I think so, at least. Will it be the Giants picking off the Suns? Will it be the Dogs picking off the Dockers? Or will it be the Hawks picking off the Brisbane? That is my favourite image of all time, by the way. Or will we have the Hawks picking off the Lions at the Gabba?
Look crazy.
And do you think any of these teams have the potential to maybe drop a game against one of these lower sides? So do the Giants lose to the Saints? Do the Dogs lose to the Eagles? Or do the Hawks lose to the Demons? It's a really interesting scenario here because one game can influence who moves where.
Dogs have the bankable in West Coast.
Yeah.
But then they've also got a play-in game against Fremantle. I think Fremantle you could also include in this simply because of the teams they have to play. They've got Brisbane, which is at home for Fremantle, but still Brisbane coming off a loss is certainly not easy.
Mm-hmm.
And then they've got the Dogs at Marvel, which is probably going to be a playing game if they do end up losing to Brisbane. Yeah. Because those are the two teams that probably are going to be on the outer. Whoever loses that could very well miss. That's a game I think we should go to. I think that's going to be an absolutely
a fantastic game.
Thrilling Sunday afternoon game. I think Geelong are safe given their draw. Adelaide are safe pretty much because they've got you guys, I think, at the end of the year.
Yes, they do have North Melbourne in the final game.
And they're already locked in. Collingwood, because they've got Melbourne, should be fine. Brisbane, I think you could also put in this because they've got Hawthorn and Fremantle.
They are also sitting at 5th right now, as we said before.
They do have the draw, which could potentially help them, but could also potentially...
It also has been hurting them. It hurts them at the moment. They're sitting outside the 4. But yeah, it's... And the most annoying part for them is that was a game they should have won. Mm-hmm. So that could really come back to bite them.
And then Hawthorn this week, they have Melbourne, which if they win that, they're making finals.
You believe so?
It's pretty much locked in that they should be making finals.
Percentage-wise, do you think it's the reason? So, because I'm trying to think who's the safest team out of these three right now.
The safest team out of these
Hawthorn,
three,
I think, is the safest team because they've got the percentage on their side over GWS. And they're also one game above the Dogs. So, realistically, Hawks need to just win one game.
I also think for the Hawks, they can beat Melbourne better than what GWS could beat Gold Coast or St Kilda. Okay. I think they're a bigger favourite. So, I think Hawthorn are probably more comfortable. I still think they could, though, because Melbourne had a really good game against the Bulldogs. The Bulldogs are still on the outer to me because they are that one game behind and because they have Fremantle, who are probably the second most informed team. They're still very much because they need to win both games. Well, if GWS beat St Kilda and Hawthorn beat Melbourne, which we think will happen, Bulldogs need to win both games. Mm-hmm. And I don't know.
You don't think they'll beat Fremantle?
I don't know.
It's at Marvel.
Because the other
thing don't travel
is if Brisbane end up losing both their games and the Dogs win both their games, Bulldogs go above Brisbane.
Yep.
And the Brisbane have a really difficult draw. So
I think it's all down to... I think the ones who decide this at the moment are the Dogs.
It's Melbourne. The team is Melbourne.
Oh, no, Melbourne. Yeah. Melbourne could absolutely ruin some seasons. They nearly did, but they missed out on the Dogs. They've got a chance to do it to the Hawks.
And Collingwood, potentially, if they lose to Adelaide this week.
I want to kind of put this thought into your mind because Hawthorn have struggled up until about 2 weeks ago against Adelaide. Sure, you could say they could pick off Brisbane at the Gabba. I don't think it's impossible, but I think they are very vulnerable against Melbourne. I think they are very vulnerable.
Okay.
They've got some young players who could really run rings around their back line. I think like Blake Hardwick is one of their only ones who are really going to get a go at them. I think Tom Barrass is going to struggle. I think the way that Fritsch plays, the way out the back he can get. Barrass is a smart player, don't get me wrong, but Fritsch has been in some good form. Cozzy can get in and amongst it. I think Petrarca has been getting some forward time as well. And that game against the Dogs really makes me believe they have what it takes to pip off Hawthorn. So I think Hawthorn could be in the loser seat, but I'm actually leaning more towards GWS being the 9 because they play the Suns, who I think is going to be a loss. Obviously, they'd say otherwise with their win at NG Stadium, their nice comeback win, but it took a lot from them. And I think if Gold Coast can play at their best and play 4 quarters of proper football, especially considering that they want this top 4 spot, then GWS really have a lot to fight against. And the Saints... Look, their skills aren't great. but they're prone to a really, really nice comeback. So there's a potential for an upset there. They've got young talent who's playing out of their skin. There's a chance they pick them off. So for me, it's between GWS and Hawthorn. I think the Dogs are pretty safe.
I don't know if the Dogs are safe.
Because I think one of Hawthorn or GWS lose both of their next games. I think the Dogs just need to beat one team, and with their percentage, it'll keep them in it. It'll keep them at least at 8.
The Dogs have that as like an extra 2 points, basically, because of the percentage.
But you know what makes this discussion so frustrating? These Dogs play West Coast, who they have notoriously messed up against.
Which we mentioned earlier.
In the past. And so it makes you think, maybe that's not a safe bet. Maybe that's not even the safe bet.
We'll talk about it right now because we get into the round 23 tips. Can you believe this is the second last week of the AFL season?
We've gone through every single week. We have gone through every single week at this rate. I can't believe that.
We have not missed a week since
that is stupid.
The week before or the 2 weeks before opening round?
Yeah, that is stupid. I cannot believe I've been able to stick here with you for this long. We'll have a look at round 23 now. Bombers versus the Saints.
Shit show.
What a night. So, yeah, notably, no Thursday night game. Good or bad, the way you say it. I think put the Dockers Lions on Thursday. I think with the discovery that you have made with attendance for interstate games outside of Victoria, this game, that Dockers Lions game should be the Thursday night with Bombers Saints. Look, if I had it my way, they wouldn't be playing at all. They'd be going home.
You guys play Richmond this week. You cannot say anything.
Yeah, well, they banished it to Tasmania, and it's on a Saturday. It's on a Sunday. It's not even in prime time. So, they've basically banished us anyways. But, yeah, that's going to be a rough one.
You got to speak Tasmanian.
Saints, yeah, we're going to learn Tasmanian real quick. Bombers, Saints. This is going to go Saints' way.
I don't even know who I want to.
This is going to go Saints' way. And you're going to further mess up your pick. Actually, no, you can't because the Swans are that far ahead of you that I don't think you can mess it up anymore. Correct. But you're not going down, and that's the problem. You've gone back to mid. I thought you had it. I thought you had bottom 4, and then you pulled out these weird wins.
Melbourne could have won and would have gone right next to us again.
Yeah.
Port should have won and would have gone above us.
You've really messed up your season.
Yep.
God, imagine that's the reason Naz leaves. I wanted a good draft pick.
Why would he want a good draft pick? He just
plays
wants to
with
win.
more talent.
Yeah, nah.
For this one, not much to really say about it.
Naz,
I'm going to go.
Please get the 3 votes.
Naz 50 disposal game. I think the Saints will win it by 30 points. They won't smash them because their skills will keep them out of it.
We win ugly by 11.
Yeah, really could be another ugly one for the Saints. Dockers v Lions now. This is the one that I'm really excited to watch at Optus Stadium. This is it's make or break for both teams.
It is.
It's a bit of a make or break. Whoever wins is safe, is all we know.
Yeah, pretty much.
But do we think it's who is the upset? Who is the favourite?
Good question.
I think it's the Dockers.
I think that the Dockers would be favourites.
Yeah.
Let me check.
They're in top 4. They're above Brisbane. It's at their home ground. They're playing better form.
Brisbane at $2.10. Fremantle's $1.75.
Yeah, so Fremantle the favourite. It's hard to say though. The Dockers just beating Port. The Lions losing to a pretty decent Sydney side at the moment.
Yeah.
So the Lions are expected to get Lachie Neale back, correct?
And Ryan Lester as well.
Ryan Lester as well. So they have some ins from their poor loss to Sydney. Dockers, no notable ins, are there? This is the same team.
No.
Oh, man. I've started to question the 2 rucks more again because there's been some really, really close calls for Fremantle. And despite them having some really good wins, like the one against Hawthorn, with that 2 ruckman system, I think it's also what's holding them back. Sean Dossey isn't hitting the scoreboard as much as he used to.
It's not good enough for 4 quarters, but it's good enough for 1 quarter, and that's what's getting them over the line.
Yeah, and I don't think that's enough for the Lions. That not the Suns, the Swans had a really good quarter but they nearly choked it away.
They also have Isaac Heaney. I don't think Shea Bolton can do what Isaac Heaney
at least
did.
he hasn't been doing it as of late.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take the Lions.
Damn, I thought you were going to go to the Dockers. I'm also going the Lions.
Yeah.
I'm strong in the Lions. I'm going to go Lions by 25. I just think if Lockie Neal's
It
back,
also is a really good narrative sense that we have a play-in game in round 24 for Dogs versus
given all the
Dockers.
talk from this year,
yeah,
it'd just be
I'd love it.
the cherry on top.
I'd love an early elimination game. It would be so much fun. But yeah, I'm going to go Lions take this one by, let's go 5 points. I always pray for a close game in ones like this.
I just think the Lions are going to be able to score. I think they just turn it on for 20 minutes and just put it past the Dockers.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Suns versus Giants now, another expansion cup. This one with a lot of feeling and a lot of meaning behind it.
Yep.
Last time, I've mentioned it before, Giants came back in a really, really nice game. Suns, however, they are looking to really, really stamp themselves in this top four. I think they win this clear. I think this is a clear win for them. Giants' form hasn't been all that crash hot.
No.
I'm sure the fact that Toby Green came back and his leadership is very clearly needed within this side. The fact that the massive turnaround just with his inclusion. They didn't have Hogan in that game against North, and they still put 133 on their head. And Toby's introduction to this team clearly shows a lot of about how much he's loved. But I still think the Suns have more than enough tools. We all already know this. They play fantastic at people first at the moment. And I think the matchups work just a lot better.
I agree. And I also think when you look at the Dogs against the Giants and how big the midfield difference was in that game, I think something similar could happen this week as well.
Yeah, for sure. The hope is that they can really rely on the sparks. You'll see Stringer probably, he'll be relied on a lot. Ever since that Super Sub game, I've seen him just relentless inside 50 targets to Jake Stringer, which is quite crazy. I didn't see that happening, but then the likes of Cadman and Brown, those guys playing fantastic forward football is great for them.
I think the Suns get over by 32.
I think the Suns could take this by 40. I think they could catch him. I think they could catch him on a really bad night and that would set them up for a scary round 24.
That puts the Giants in a really bad place to need to beat the Saints, and by a fair bit too.
Yeah, well, they'll be very heavily reliant on other teams, and you just can't afford that. Funny enough, that's what the Dogs have been doing for a long time. They've been relying on other teams to get them into the finals.
Yeah.
So we'll have a look. And I think they relied on the Hawks in previous years, had they not? They relied on the Hawks to beat a team by enough to make the 8.
The Giants.
So the Hawks beat a team by a certain amount that got them over by percentage.
What year are you talking about?
I think it was either last year or the year before.
2023, no. Definitely not.
I can't
and
remember
last
who it was.
year, definitely not. It doesn't fucking matter.
Either way, that's irrelevant to what we're talking about here. I got on my tangent. I love my tangents. Blues versus Port now. Who cares about this game?
Literally, there are going to be some good games and there's going to be absolute dead rubbers.
This is one of those dead rubbers. Let's say, look, they're not playing bad footy at the moment, but Marvel. Let's go Blues. Blues by 10.
I'll go Power by
Final
8.
score, 48 to 38. I don't know. Be that boring.
Jesus Christ.
Hawks versus Dees now. This is one of those exciting ones. Hawks, as we mentioned, one of those ones. I think they are in, like we said, I think they're in the safest spot. They have a bit of percentage that puts them over the Giants and obviously have the game over the Dogs. But the Dees nearly picked off the Dogs. And if we're talking talent, Dogs have much more, in my opinion. Does that mean the Dees can pick them off? It's at the MCG, a Saturday twilight. I think there's going to be a lot of eyes on this game.
A Troy Chaplin masterclass would
Troy
be
Chaplin masterclass.
Absolutely fantastic.
God.
And Josh Battle can fucking suck it.
What that would do for you. Are you saying Demons take this?
I went with them last week.
It nearly paid off.
Am I too crazy to go again?
Because you know what I'm doing. I'm going Demons take this one.
I'll go Dees simply because I want to see them lose, the Hawks. I want to see Josh Battle fucking suck it so bad.
The Troy Chaplin masterclass. Sprinkle a little bit of magic on this one. I think they take it by 25.
I'm going to go a close game. I think they would win by 3.
Oh, that'd be so good.
I would just love Josh Battle to be the one to give away a free kick to kick the goal after the siren. I'm already thinking about it in my head.
And then probably the biggest matchup in terms of Premiership contenders, Crows versus Magpies. It's so good we got this in round 23 because round 24, I don't think either of these guys play anyone really that fantastic. Crows at Adelaide Oval is tough to tip against, and Magpies form makes you want to tip Crows by a big one. But you had hinted at something here at the start of the podcast.
Bounce back.
You had to say it, didn't you?
I did.
You think the Magpies are going to take it?
I do.
How much?
Not by much, but I think
I was going to say
there's going to be a response.
I think there has to be, surely.
I think you're talking about some matchups. It could be. I just see producer Ethan go, yeah.
He's happy. We called him Donkey this week, so a bit of nice words.
I just wouldn't be surprised if there's some things that Craig McRae does that you're just like, okay, we saw it there. Now we're seeing it for. I think Josh Dacos becomes that energy in the midfield that they need. And I think that allows Dan Houston to be their sole halfback flanker, really. I wouldn't be surprised if Oleg Markov gets a full game because he's energy. He's run and dash. I wouldn't be surprised if Lockie Sullivan comes in because, he does the pressure work.
You know who I think they should take out? Scotty Pendlebury.
No.
You don't think so?
I wouldn't be surprised if both Tom Mitchell and Ned Long don't get a game, though.
Yeah, now that you say it, those are probably the ones to get it before. I was going to say because Pendlebury, I think, could be what's clogging it up in there.
I disagree. I think you definitely can't play those two together in Long and Mitchell. I just wouldn't be surprised if they go over midfield.
I don't think you can play Mitchell and Pendlebury together. But then again, I'd much rather take Pendlebury than Mitchell.
You could play Pendlebury off of a wing or off of half-back alongside instead. And so I think the versatility of him and side bottom is better than the versatility of Long and Mitchell.
Yeah, it's worked. It has worked. I just think because Pendlebury is maybe the cog they haven't turned yet, maybe they can see whether they maybe not take him out per se, as I was saying at the start, but switch him around because I think he could be. He's a smooth mover too. Mm-hmm. He's really clean with the ball, and sure, it's nice to have him in the midfield with his first hands on the ball. But I think when he can get himself involved in plays out in the wing that gets the ball moving from one flank to the other, I think that could be a really nice avenue to explore. Just outside of his usual in and amongst it play, his linking play that he doesn't do as well as Nick Dacos does at his best, but at the same time, the fact he's doing it at 400 plus games is something you just can't believe still. Mm-hmm. I think while Magpies is a great tip in the sense that they'll need to make a response. It could be a really good emotional pick, a vibe pick, maybe, if we throw back to that one. I think the Crows just have too much. The Crows are playing with house money at this rate. They know what's at stake, 100%. And you look at how much their forward line has struggled, how much Adelaide's back line. Look, it's not a perfect form at the moment, but it's still performing at a very good rate. Maybe excluding last week with their game against West Coast, but surely they don't do another West Coast. Again, they'd have to respond from that. They took that game as a loss. They've actively said that game felt like a loss to them. Adelaide at their very best, and I'm almost certain they'll bring it against the Magpies at the Adelaide Oval. I think I'm going to tip the Crows by 35.
I'm pretty confident the Pies get done by 15, and I'm going to go Jordan De Goey masterclass.
De Goey masterclass.
De Goey masterclass.
I didn't think of De Goey.
You don't think of many things.
Yeah, that's funny. Good one. Roos Tigers.
Okay.
I don't know what to say. Can Roos just have a win, please? Please. That's all I'm begging. I just want to get one more win.
It's not going to happen, bro.
I'm not even going to see it if it happens. So, that's probably the reason.
You're not going with Cardi this week?
Nah, I'm not going to see them play. No, it's unfortunate. But I think the Roos are going to take this one by 20 points.
Also, can we just say that you had the Giants to kick 140 last week?
Uh-huh.
They were close.
They had 133. Mm-hmm. They were one goal off. If they had Jesse Hogan, it would have been 140.
Yeah, well, I'm going to go Tigers by... I'm going Roos by 52 points.
Oh, please. Please.
Actually, no, you don't have Nick Larkey. I'm going to go Tigers by
What the hell?
5.
We have Paul Curtis. We have Cooper Tremba. We have Cooper Harvey. The Cooper Troopers. Remember the whole Luigi thing that happened earlier before? We have Cam Zurhaar. We have Geordie Payne. We have Griffin Logue, so maybe there's that. But we have Chom.
Sydney versus the Cats.
All right, we'll forget about it then.
Danger game for Geelong, most definitely.
Danger game.
Ladder position sort of tells a lie of where this Swans team is at. They could lose their top 4 spot if they lose this.
Yeah, of course. Any team in the top 8 who loses at this moment will not be top 4, I think. So I think that Adelaide Magpie game could be very interesting.
Swans get it done.
Ooh. Ooh. It is a danger game. We both agree. At the SCG,
I reckon
I don't think it matters all that much, but
yeah. I reckon Jezza outscores everyone else from Geelong.
Yeah, you're just hoping that, though. You're not actually thinking that. I think...
No, I'm not.
I think... I'm going to toe the party line and say Cats win this one. How much are you tipping Swans by?
Not by much, but I'll go 9 points.
I'll tip Cats by 9 points. I'll swing it the other way. Sunday, twilight at Marvel. Final game of the round, Bulldogs, Eagles. Shouldn't be exciting, but it is purely because of history. They couldn't, could they?
Please tip the Bulldogs, the Eagles.
You want me to tip the Eagles?
Please do it.
I'll tip the Eagles. Yeah, we'll go Eagles by 1 and just absolute heartbreak for the Dogs.
I'm gonna go Bulldogs by 101.
I've been coerced. I've been absolutely coerced.
You have.
But this is a low tier danger game because it shouldn't be. But there's the idea, right? The Dogs have done it before, but I think last week they avoided their danger game this year. It's just the fact that it's against a team that they've notoriously done it against before. But that is Zero Access Footy, episode number 25. Thank you guys so much for listening in and watching.
One of our more entertaining podcasts, I would say.
Yeah, well, a lot of clown moments, that's for sure. I think you're just a clown all the time, but from myself, a lot of clown moments. So it's a bit outrageous from all of us. But nonetheless, be sure to tune in and follow us on socials. We've got Instagram, TikTok. We've also got our podcast on Apple Music and Amazon.
iHeartRadio.
And iHeartRadio, that's it. Not on Apple. Sorry. Thank you.
You screwed up this time, not me.
Yeah, but I'm also going to send us out on a high note. Watch this. Thank you guys so very much. You're ruining my moment. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you all once again. I'll see you all in the next episode for episode 26.
Bad on a high note. Why'd you mute me?
Why'd
you mute me?
Got him. I'll see you all later. Catch ya.